In a recent article on ABC News, they talked about plant-based beef. Some of the things they said in the article were good, and some things weren't so good. So in this edition of Science or Nonsense, we're going to be busting the myths of plant-based beef. How much of it is good versus how much of it is just nonsense. In more detail, here is the actual article. This is nothing personal against the author. I don't know the author. I'm pretty sure they don't know me. So this is not the point. If you want to read the article, here it is on your screen. You can search it. But let me just pick highlights of the article and explain: are they science or are they nonsense? In more detail, here's what you can expect to learn. First of all, there's one big problem with the title, and that is that it's made with simplified ingredients. Soon, you'll see what those simplified ingredients are. After that, we'll compare the nutritional profile of plant-based beef versus a beef patty. Lastly, we're going to bust one thing that they talk about, which is we know that health is a top driver for the plant-based meat category. Is it really? You'll get to hear my thoughts about that towards the end of this video, so keep on watching. So before we jump in, who am I? My name is Igor. I'm the author of 13 books on exercise and nutrition, including 4 Amazon bestsellers. As well, I've been a personal trainer since 2006, and I've been training other trainers in my methodology by speaking at some of the world's largest personal training conferences since 2013. And I've done over 400 wellness presentations to some of Canada's largest corporations, including IBM, Bosch, American Express, University of Toronto, Investors Group, and others. If you want to learn when I publish more of my science or nonsense editions, click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can be notified. So let's jump in. First of all, the title. It says, amongst other things, that it's made with simplified ingredients. And here's where it says that. The entire title is this: New Beyond Meat plant-based beef made with avocado oil for nutrient-dense simplified ingredients. Here are those simplified ingredients. Now, pause this video and try to read through those ingredients. Do these ingredients look simple to you? I don't know about you, but this doesn't look simplified to me, because here are the ingredients in beef. Beef. There is one ingredient. So what are they talking about when they're saying simplified? It's simplified compared to previous versions of plant-based beef. And if you're thinking this isn't simplified, then how complex were previous versions? Way more complex than this already complex concoction. But forget the ingredients. Let's talk about the nutritional profile. How does Beyond Meat compare to a regular beef patty? In terms of total calories, Beyond Meat has 230. A regular beef patty has 320. And I'll explain to you what all this means in a second. Is this a significant number or not significant? The total fat is 14 grams in Beyond Meat. In a regular beef patty, it's 25 grams. Saturated fat in Beyond Meat is 2 grams and 11 grams in a regular beef patty. And if you're wondering, that's worse for your heart, the question is it really? And I'll address that in a couple of slides. Then they break down the fat in terms of saturated, polyunsaturated, and monounsaturated. The polyunsaturated fat in Beyond Meat is 2.5 grams. In regular beef patty, it's 0.5 grams. Monounsaturated in Beyond Meat is 8 grams due to the avocado oil. And in the regular beef patty, it's 7 grams, so very, very similar. The carbs in Beyond Meat are 8 grams. In a regular beef patty, is 2 grams. Fiber, this actually has fiber, which is 2 grams. And in a regular beef patty, it's 0 grams. And the protein is actually slightly higher in Beyond Meat compared to a regular beef patty, but not significantly so, just by 2 grams, which isn't a heck of a big difference. Now, these are just numbers. What do they really mean? What is the effect on health? I want to point out a couple things. The protein, yeah, it's about 2 grams higher in Beyond Meat compared to regular beef patty, but for all intents and purposes, it's not a significant difference. Calories, so yes, Beyond Meat does have 90 fewer calories. The question is that significant? And if you're eating 2,400 calories per day, that's not a heck of a big difference. Furthermore, maybe you eat 90 calories more at that meal, but then you eat 90 calories less at a future meal. So how does it balance out by itself? In an isolated scenario, it looks like it's worse, but if you take the entire day into account, maybe it affects your appetite differently. So I would consider this just artifact instead of superiority or inferiority. As for saturated fat, yes, the Beyond Meat burger has significantly less saturated fat compared to the regular beef patty. Now, if you're thinking saturated fat is bad for the heart, the question is it really? Is saturated fat bad for the heart? For years and decades, we've been told saturated fat clogs the arteries and gives you heart attacks. But is that really the case? Well, let's look at what the research has to say. Here is one study called, not a study, a meta-analysis, a study of multiple studies, titled Meta-analysis of Prospective Cohort Studies Evaluating the Association of Saturated Fat with Cardiovascular Disease. The conclusion of all the studies they included is basically there is no relationship between saturated fat intake and cardiovascular health. Here's another study, basically showing the same thing. The title is Intake of Saturated and Trans-Unsaturated Fatty Acids and Risk of All-Cause Mortality, Cardiovascular Disease, and Type 2 Diabetes. The conclusion is, yes, trans fats are bad for the heart, but there's no relationship between saturated fat intake and cardiovascular health. And I know for a lot of viewers, this is coming as a huge surprise. So if anybody is interested, leave a comment below and I'll elaborate on the lack of an association between saturated fat and heart disease. Because I know it's been purported for decades. Now, here's another sentence from ABC News from this article. We know that health is a top driver for the plant-based meat category. I call nonsense on that one. If somebody is a true vegan or vegetarian and they don't do it for ideological reasons, they do it for supposedly health reasons, they don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to tell the world I'm a vegan or I'm a vegetarian. However, people eating plant-based meat often do that. Not everybody, but a lot. So besides health, what are other reasons that people eat plant-based meat? Well, one is they want to feel good about themselves, that they are virtuous. And because of that, they want to feel superior to other people. And it's for ideology. As I cover in my articles, books, and other videos, there is no good nutritional reason to be a vegan or a vegetarian. There may be good ideological reasons, there may be good ethical reasons, there may be good ecological reasons or environmental reasons, but my forte, my area of expertise is nutrition and exercise. I can't comment on those other reasons. However, yes, health is a reason, but I would say it's probably not even a major reason why people eat plant-based meat. Usually they eat plant-based meat because they miss meat, the actual flavor, texture, color, smell of meat. Now, very often, as I mentioned, this is for their ideology because they belong in a cult. I shot another video linked in the description below, as well as on your screen right now, about the 3 most common fitness and health cults, as well as who are the cult leaders of these cults. Why do these people believe that this cult is legitimate, and others? If you're interested in that, click on the link on your screen right now and in the description below.